Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom here from the iScrap app, and today is Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. Happy Thanksgiving, a little early. We will not be live next week on a shortened week. We're going to skip next week, get ready for our turkey coma, and we will be returning the first week of December. Hey, don't forget, if you like our scrap videos, we have a members only YouTube section where you can get videos that we only give to members. So not even early releases. They're videos that members get, and we've had a bunch of members signing up recently, so thank you to many of you that have been signing up. We have 2 new videos out now that are for members only, and they could be things on a scrapyard's perspective, how to make more money on certain items, and things that you can be looking for. So a lot of these videos aren't even our ideas. They're ideas that many people have given us, and we're able to run with those ideas and go from there. So don't forget to report your prices on the app, whether you're on a Droid, or whether you're on an iPhone, or you're doing it online, just to help the community and help the average prices across the country. So where are we with prices going into the end of the year? I mean, gosh, the next time we're going to be doing this, we're going to be doing it on December 3rd, which is crazy. And then a couple weeks after that, we're going to start to have our year-end recaps and our 2026 previews. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens and see how things are going. But we're looking at the markets week over week, and what we've seen is pretty flatlined. I'll talk about copper for a minute. Week over week, copper is down pretty much nothing. It's been the same price. Trading wise, we're at $5 a pound trading wise. We've seen some strong copper prices. We did see some quick jumps, and it's so funny because a week ago, the markets are where they are today, yet we saw about a 15-cent jump up, but then we saw about a 15-cent jump down, and that was all in the period of 2 or 3 days. So it's just so funny to see how these things go. Markets go up, markets go down, and sometimes it's hard to time these things. As a scrapyard owner, it's hard to sell things when I see, big increases, because sometimes they go even higher, and then when they go on the other side, then it gets to be even worse. So right now, you should still be seeing very strong prices from your scrapyards on the copper side of things. At Rockway Recycling, we're at $4.20 a pound for beverage. So, pretty strong numbers going into the holiday season. It won't shock me, scrappers, to see prices go down a little more. If anyone follows the stock market or cryptocurrencies and all these different interest rates, we're seeing a little bit of a pullback in the market. We're seeing a lot of traders and trading companies pulling profits off the top. We're seeing them liquidate some of the stocks they've had big profit numbers on. We're seeing rumblings out of the Federal Reserve of not lowering interest rates. And if you asked me a month ago, it was like a certainty that we were going to see interest rates going down again. And now, after the 40-something day government shutdown, delayed numbers on labor statistics coming out, I just see things potentially having a bit of a hold up. And sometimes people are looking for excuses to liquidate things. Dropping interest rates down shouldn't have this, or not dropping interest rates down, even if it's delayed by a month, shouldn't have this type of an impact. So sometimes traders, whether it's copper or stocks, they take that information, they kind of just cash things out, especially going into the year end and the holiday season. So right now, copper prices week over week are pretty strong going into the first, holiday next week of Thanksgiving, and then going into Christmas and New Year's. You're going to see a little bit of this. I think my kids would say like 6, 7. I'm not hip like that, but no, it's funny because they do this all the time. You are going to see market changes over the next few weeks, which won't surprise me. And it won't surprise me going into Christmas. I think Christmas is on a Thursday, so you got a really short week there. I would pay attention to the first 2 weeks of December. So if you're looking for a good time to cash in, I would cash in by like the 15th of December or so. Even if you don't like to cash in then, I think that it's a better bet against prices being at the levels they're at now, where we could start to see a little bit of a pullback the second half of December. Because don't forget, when we have the 4th of July, that's a US based holiday. When we have Thanksgiving, US based holiday. Christmas and New Year's, worldwide holidays. And that takes a lot of people out of their offices, factories, trucks, right? And it parks a lot of that kind of bandwidth on the side for the holiday season. And then people are getting ready for, January and the new year. So these are just things to think about going in. I do want to show off a couple of quick things, though. You can see behind me, I have lots and lots of treasures that I've been given over the years. Over this shoulder over here, you can see my office Lego that was given to me by my staff. The Office is my all-time favorite TV show, and my son and I got to put together Michael Scott and Dwight and all these guys. It's pretty cool. You can even like slide the different things out. So one of my favorite shows here. And of course, you can see some of the artwork behind me on the wall. But this was given to me by one of my employees' daughters after we had Take Your Child to Work Day. She brought this. So pretty cool stuff. And I'll share some more stuff. We got some team photos from different teams that we've sponsored. So just a bunch of cool things going into the holiday. I wanted to share some of those things with you. Now, let's talk about some other materials. Aluminum. We got a question. Sure. LV Malls Planes. Hey, Tom, on RR Carbide, what size bits do you take? All sizes. I could not find sizes online. How small can my cobalt bits be? Doesn't matter. We don't discriminate when it comes to the size of your carbide. Thank you for calling us or emailing us. Any type of carbide that you have, any size, from the smallest bits and tips to the biggest ones. We've gotten big ones in that are like, kind of like this big. So we've seen some really big ones. And then we get really, really small ones. So any of them are good. Look for a quote RR Carbide. And why not? I'll talk about carbide prices right now. Thank you kind of for teeing me up there. All-time high carbide prices. We increased our carbide prices again a couple of weeks ago. We've seen these markets really going up as manufacturing here in the United States has increased, but also something that I learned about, we were receiving a lot of carbide and tungsten alloys from China, from overseas sellers. Well, as the tariffs have really strengthened the United States in different areas, they've weakened some of the import markets. So the material that is here inside of the country has become more valuable. So we've seen really high carbide prices. We've been quoting them. And don't forget, the team at RR Carbide, we provide you free shipping and bins for you to send it in. And I know, scrappers, carbide is not something you're going to find on the side of the street. It's not something you're going to see all the time, right? But for those of you that are in the know or in the industry, RR Carbide has been buying carbide for the last few years, and we have a really great system with very quick payment options. So please check those things out. Thank you again for the question, LV Malls Planes. Let's talk about aluminum for a second. The aluminum markets are strong, but we're seeing a little bit of fracturing and weakness due to oversupply of scrap. What do I mean? Too much material came into the aluminum mills. In fact, I'm going to read a text message that I got just a few minutes ago talking about aluminum. Aluminum demand is so poor. One of the big recyclers, I'm not going to name their name, one of the big refiners went out of the market for aluminum in November and December due to an oversupply. Old sheet, cast aluminum, turnings, dirty extrusions, buyers both domestically and export have nothing left for 2025 and are waiting for January 2026. So when I look at that, it took me 5 days to get a quote on 7,000 pounds of aluminum cans. Normally I get a quote in 5 minutes. But what we're finding is that some of the buyers, they're not even quoting. They're just flat out of the market for the next month and a half because they have so much supply or they've already booked so many orders. So if you see some of the prices going down on aluminum, don't be surprised. It's because there's an overabundance of those materials that I named: sheet aluminum, cast aluminum, aluminum turnings, dirty extrusions, and any contaminated material. We've seen a much smaller demand, which has led to recessed prices. And from there, you're going to see a pullback. That's just what we're seeing right now. So it's not going to surprise me if we see aluminum prices sliding by another 5 cents this year. Hopefully we can maintain the levels that we're at. And in the first quarter of next year, we can start to see things turning around, because the aluminum markets, in my opinion, are still one of the best markets to upgrade your material and make more money on. And you're going to see that in the coming weeks and months. Steel prices flat week over week, month over month. Any sign of life that we saw that we thought was being resuscitated was kind of, killed. And we just don't see steel prices rising. We've seen oil and gas prices continuing to decrease. That's a win. But we're not seeing that demand for all of the reasons that I've been talking about for months. Less industrial demand, less industrial steel growth. So because of that, we're just not seeing things moving. And I continue to recommend selling all materials, especially your steel. So if you get it in, get it out. I talked to a scrapyard this morning in Pennsylvania. He held 4,000 tons of steel for the last 7 months. He accrued 4,000 tons in hope that he was going to see an increase. And last week he sold it all. So someone that has 4,000 tons and saved it for 7 or 8 months, whatever the months were, it's not my money, so I don't count it, or my materials. That should tell you something, scrappers. It's probably not worth holding right now. And with gas and diesel prices continuing to tick down, this morning, for instance, I paid $2.88 a gallon here in New Jersey. Even with those prices going down, it's not helping the steel markets going up. We're hoping that the new year might bring some new news, but as of this point, we haven't seen anything too crazy. Let's talk about catalytic converters and kind of the precious metal angle for a couple of minutes. Back in October, our cats, and in September, we were telling you, get rid of your cats. We're seeing really high prices. And that was following the huge uptick in gold prices. Now, gold is not in cats, but it did pull along the platinums, the palladiums, and the rhodiums of the world. So as gold hit all-time highs of over $4,400 an ounce, parentheses, it's right now in like $4,100 range, so it's down, but not like super down. And parentheses, we did start to see catalytic converter prices being pulled along, and we saw the highest prices that we've seen in over 2 years. So still really strong prices on cats. We have seen about a 3 to 5% pullback on those average prices from the earlier weeks of October, but still really strong prices. And we've had a few customers over at rrcats.com that had been holding on to their cats. They took our advice. They sent them in. One gentleman sent in over 30 cats that he had been holding, and was really happy with some of the prices that he saw. So don't forget, we hold your prices for 10 business days, provide you with free shipping, and offer easy things like PayPal payments and check payments in the mail. Overall, scrappers, stainless steel and nickel prices, that has been the most disappointing metal of the year. I got no good news. I got nothing to tell you. I lowered my stainless prices by 4 cents a pound the other day. There continues to be a gluttony of material on the markets. I have access to different job sites that are holding hundreds of thousands of pounds of stainless, but the cost to pull it out doesn't even offset the price of selling it because it's just so cheap right now. Again, I was saying to kind of hold it for a while. I wouldn't do it anymore. I would be getting rid of everything that I can. Any comments or questions? Jay, saw one of your 10-yard cans in Bayonne the other day. I was at EMR Duraport. I drive for EMR. Hey, Jay, nice to see the shout out here. Nice to see that you saw our cans. Hopefully it was clean and green. Anything else? Josh says, hey, will a scrapyard deduct me if I can't get the O2 sensor out of my catalytic converter? Absolutely not. You make more money if you save your O2 sensors and you sell them on a per pound basis. Will they deduct you? Definitely not. You can leave that in there, Josh. Any other questions? Great. Scrappers, my name is Tom Buchel from Rockaway Recycling and the iScrap app. Today is Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. I wish you and your family, from me and my family here at iScrap and Rockaway Recycling, a very happy Thanksgiving. We hope you have great holiday season, eat way too much, enjoy all of the football and family dialogue, because we always know the holidays bring fun times with families. But we hope that your scrap is flowing. And again, check out our other videos on YouTube and becoming a YouTube member of ours. You get early access to videos, and you get videos that we won't show to anyone else. Until 2 weeks from now, my name is Tom. Until then, happy Thanksgiving, and I'll scrap you.